In a remote corner of the South Khorasan area, precisely near the border with Afghanistan, there is an ancient 1500-year-old village known as Dwarf Village and is considered one of the 7 most amazing villages in the world. Experts believe that about a century ago this village was inhabited by people, a dwarf person with a size of around 50 centimeters. This belief is based on the fact that the approximately 200 stone and clay houses that make up this village, 70 or 80 of which have very low heights, these dwellings are about 150 centimeters high with narrow doors that cannot be entered without bending over. This village is called Makhunik, and although it is around 1500 years old, the architecture in this village looks like it came from 10,000 years ago. The simple houses in Makhunik maintain ancient designs made of wood, mud, stone and thatch. These houses are built in a depression in the hill area, with the main room being about 1 meter lower than the ground level. Therefore, these houses often require stairs to connect the entrance to the ground floor of the house. The length and width of these houses ranges from 1.5 to 3 meters or 3 by 5 meters, with a ceiling height of around 1.5 meters. Each house had a small room for storing barley and wheat, plus a small stove for cooking, as well as several very small rooms for keeping animals and other equipment. There is also a living room, bedroom, kitchen, knitting workshop and so on. In this small house, one family can consist of 8 people and they have no problems with living conditions. Even though the houses in mahogany look simple and are built with simple materials, building tiny houses is not a simple matter. This is because the population has limited access to large enough domestic animals that are usually used to transport materials. Apart from that, because the road conditions are not suitable, residents have to transport building material supplies by hand for several km. Therefore, people choose to build simple and smaller houses because smaller houses will require fewer materials and make their business lighter. In addition, smaller houses are easier to heat or cool than larger houses. In 2006, there were around 125 families with a population of around 700 people living in Mahogany. It is thought that they were originally Sunni Afghans who migrated to the area. This was hundreds of years ago when they were isolated and did not have much communication with outsiders. This area actually includes several villages, some of which are Mahogany, Tutak, Lajuna and Peace Lane and so on. All the residents in these villages had similar religious characteristics and lifestyles until about 50 years ago. All residents in this village do not drink tea and do not eat meat. The belief that Mahogany residents had dwarf bodies in the past is not only based on architectural findings in this area, but in 2005, a mummified body measuring around 25 centimeters was found in this area. This discovery later fueling the belief that this region in a remote corner of Iran was once home to an ancient dwarven city. Even though experts later discovered that the mummy was actually a premature baby who died around 400 years ago, they argued that previous generations of Mahogany residents were indeed shorter than usual, adding that this was one of the reasons why people in this area had shorter bodies. Compared to people of his time, they were full creatures which contributed significantly to the lack of height. The body's lack of nutrition was influenced by the dry and remote geographic conditions which made it difficult for the inhabitants to raise livestock, grow rapeseed, grain, dates and several other crops. Which is a staple food for them. On the other hand, access to the surrounding towns is also very difficult, and there is no means to cross the mountains. Therefore, this village remained without access, and was not known to the outside world until around 100 years ago, during which time the residents continued to experience lack of nutrition. Luckily, around 70 years ago, when this area began to be discovered, the government began to open roads to reach this area, along with food and several other facilities with transportation connected to the villages. People in this area could reach nearby towns and eat something better. Young people started going to nearby towns and bringing back money and food, so things in this village became better than before. If previously the average population in this area had a short and stocky body, now they have a tall and slender body. However, even though most of the hundreds of Mahogany residents today are of average height, they are reminded of the stature of their ancestors. Shorter than the size of people in general still survive today.